Hello, my Buff 1000 Nation. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully, everyone's having a great day. If not, I hope it gets better from here. All right. All right. Before we end anything else, need to go ahead and get a few things out the way. Happy Halloween. Hope everyone had a spooky hell of a day today. That's right. And candy, cupcakes, cakes, all kinds of shit. Hope you all have had the living poo scared out of you and all that good stuff. It's Halloween, y'all. It's amazing. All right. Number two. Uh, I go in for surgery tomorrow. Technically, when you're seeing this, it will be tomorrow because this will be coming out Monday. So, Tuesday, I go in for surgery. I will still be posting videos. I have plenty of videos recorded for however long I have to be down. It's not for sure yet, but I am going to end up having to have surgery. I got my bracelet from my blood work and everything. I don't know what time I go in Tuesday yet. I won't know until sometime Monday because I am recording this Sunday night. Uh, I will still be posting my videos like I normally do. So no worries on that. I have pre-recorded enough to last until I have the okay to get back to doing everything I do. I will anytime every time I premiere, I will still have my laptop right there handy. I will still be talking back and forth with everyone who always jumps in on the premieres. No, they're not lives, but I still chat back and forth on my premieres. I love talking to y'all. It's fun. Uh, so yeah, just wanted to get that out the way real fast. There will still be videos. Yeah, slightly nervous. Only surgery I've ever had was on my tonsils, and this is a robot is doing surgery on me. Evidently, like I don't know that's what my paper said. It's fucking robot. No, my luck, it ain't gonna have an update, or it's gonna be like loading, loading, loading. Yay! All right, so number one, I hope everyone had a great Halloween. All Hallows Eve is literally one of my favorite holidays. That Thanksgiving and Christmas. Same. I like about all holidays, honestly. Uh, and secondly, I will be having surgery sometime Tuesday morning. Don't know what time they're supposed to call with the appointment. So yeah. All right. Other than that, we're back with a new MrBallen video. This one is titled she saw the warning, but went anyways. Well, that's not good. Last time, no, that was they heard the warning sirens and they died. Well, only one died. Only one died. Yeah, it's just going to be fine. It's going to be fine, right? Right. Uh, yeah. But yeah, there's no way for me to try to hide the weird bright ass bracelet that I have to wear until surgery day. So I figured go ahead and let y'all know. Plus, I really didn't want you guys thinking like, because I'm not going to be able to record the new MrBallen videos for Mondays for a little bit, and that's our thing. So you guys will still be getting MrBallen Classic Monday. Everything else Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all of it's going to be the same. Just for maybe the next couple of Mondays, it's going to be a MrBallen Classic, and I do apologize for that. But once I get back, we're gonna have plenty of new MrBallen videos to get through, so it's all good. All right. Let's go ahead and get into today's story. Go ahead and turn them lights down low. Put on something comfy. Cuddle up with someone special. Oh, let's get concerned, because I'm concerned for these people.
In 2016, a couple was walking up this dirt path on this wooded hillside when they came up to this huge barbed wire fence. And all over this fence were signs saying no trespassing and warning people that what was on the other side of this fence was very dangerous. But the couple ignored these signs and slipped through a break in the fence to the other side and just kept on walking. Minutes later, that couple would come face to face with a monster. But before we get into that story,
Okay, first and foremost, if there is a barbed wire fence and it says get the fuck out, don't come in here, don't go in there. Stay the hell out. All right? Like, curiosity killed the cat. And evidently there's a monster in there. And like, what if Bigfoot? Is it like a Bigfoot habitat? Holy shit, did they come across the Bigfoot habitat?
If you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place because that's all we do, and we upload once a week. So, if that's of interest to you, please offer to do the like button's dishes, but be sure to leave all of the cups and bowls right side up inside of their dishwasher. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of
That's nasty and buggered up. Oh god.
our weekly uploads. Okay, let's get into today's story.
Oh. Hope Lick Monster.
While she was in high school in Dayton, Ohio, Raquel Bain became known as a bit of a thrill seeker, primarily because she would do something called car surfing, which is exactly what it sounds
It's where you get on top of the car and you surf while driving down the road. Don't ask me how I know.
like. She would climb onto the exterior of cars and hold on to the roof while somebody else drove it around. In addition to seeking out these physical thrills, Raquel was also drawn to psychological ones, like going to places that were supposedly haunted and seeing if she could spook herself. Following high school, Raquel kind of calmed down and became less of the wild teenager she was known for being, and instead she really focused on building a life and a career for herself. And so she would go to college and she would earn her degree in surgical technologies, and then by 2009 she was employed full-time as a surgical assistant in Dayton. Also around that time, she had her first child, a son, who she adored. But despite creating this life full of stereotypically adult, mature things like having a career and starting a family, deep down, Raquel was still very much the thrill-seeking wild teenager she was back in high school. But as an adult, she just never had time to go seek out those thrills. So with that in mind, fast forward to April of 2016. By this
It's true. Life happens, and then you're like, why? I used to be fun. What happened? Just remember that, people. Like, at one time, y'all's parents might have been fun people. uh, no, no, no. My mom used to be a fun person. She said dad was born with a stick in his ass. I believe it.
point, Raquel is 26 years old, and that month, a very rare weekend popped up where Raquel did not have to work and she didn't have any childcare responsibilities. And so, wanting to take advantage of this free time, Raquel asked her boyfriend, 41-year-old David Nee, if he would join her on a road trip that weekend to Louisville, Kentucky, where Raquel wanted to check out the infamously scary Waverly Hills Sanatorium. Back in the 1900s, Waverly Hills was a place where tuberculosis patients were sent. Tuberculosis, or TB for short, is an infection of the lungs and it can be deadly. Today, there's a cure for it, but back in the early 1900s, there wasn't. And so most of the people who went to Waverly Hills died there, and usually very slowly and painfully and in total isolation from their families, because in virtue of being sent to Waverly Hills, they were effectively being quarantined to stop the spread of the disease.
Yeah.
Waverly Hills would eventually shut down permanently in 1961 because by that point the cure had been found, and after it shut down, the building basically just sat there. Nobody else came in and turned it into anything else. And so this building is basically abandoned, and lots of people began sneaking in to see what it was like in there, and a shocking number of these trespassers reported seeing ghosts inside. Today, the sanatorium is still very much in the same condition it was left in, but the Waverly Hills Historical Society has stepped in and made it very hard for people to sneak into the building. However, knowing people do want to go in and look around, the Historical Society has begun offering guided tours of the sanatorium, and these tours are given exclusively at night to increase the spooky effect. And so David, who had only been dating Raquel for a month when she asked him to come with her to the sanatorium, he was not really that keen on doing this. It did not really appeal to him to go walking around this totally terrifying place, but he could tell it was important.
That's not how I want to spend my Friday night. I mean, that happens. You gotta branch out every once in a while. You can't just Netflix it and chill, you know what I mean? Sometimes you just gotta go somewhere that's gonna make you poo yourself a couple good times. That's how you know you're alive. You ain't lived until you've shot yourself and then had to drive a very long way home.
To Raquel, she was really excited about it, and so he agreed to go. A few days later, on the late afternoon of April 23rd, the new couple left Raquel's place, they climbed into the car, and they began driving south. 3 hours later, they arrived in Louisville and they stopped to get dinner. And then after they were done eating, they looked at the time and realized it was only about 6:45 p.m. and the tour they had scheduled at the sanatorium was not until 10 p.m. So they had a few hours to kill. And before David could suggest anything, Raquel already had the perfect idea of how they should kill this time. She told David that earlier that day she had learned about a spot just outside of Louisville that might actually be more terrifying than the sanatorium they had come all this way to see. And so Raquel wanted to spend these few hours checking out this.
She one of them people. She wants to shit herself twice. This poor guy. He's like, I was down for poo. I only brought one change of pants. Yeah, he should have brought his brown pants. You can poo in them as many times as you need to.
New spooky spot. This spooky spot was a rickety old, narrow, abandoned-looking bridge called the Pope Lick Trestle. It's located just east of downtown Louisville in this heavily wooded area. The bridge is about 800 feet long, and at its highest point, right in the middle of the bridge, it's about 90 to 100 feet off the ground. And this bridge connects the tops of two of the bigger rolling hills in the area. But the bridge's physical appearance has nothing to do with why it's considered so spooky. The reason the Pope Lick Trestle has become a central part of Kentucky folklore is because locals say there is a monster called the Pope Lick Monster that lives underneath the bridge. It's half goat, half man, and when anyone is near this bridge at night, this monster is supposed to come out from underneath this bridge, and then what happens next is very ambiguous.
Like, is that the same thing as Goatman's Bridge? Is it Goatman's Bridge? Where's Goatman's Bridge located at? Is this I know I've watched something on Goatman's Bridge, but I don't remember where it was located at or what it was called. Yeah, if this is Goatman's Bridge, yeah, you don't want to fuck with that. Like, I've heard some messed up things about it, and it don't, like, cult members and stuff got there and do, like, weird shit. Oh, I believe in one of them that I watched, like, pet shops and stuff like that stopped, like, selling cats and stuff because people was just taking them out there and sacrificing them and shit. Like, I'm not a fan of cats. I mean, long story, whenever I was little, I was bit by a cat. I got cat scratch fever, and I literally almost died from it. I mean, I love all animals, don't get me wrong. Just, I'm not a fan of cats after that. I mean, it happens. One mean putty cat.
It kind of depends on who you're talking to, but generally speaking, once the Pope Lick Monster has emerged and it sees you, you're dead. Now, how you die ranges from the monster leaping out and attacking you with an axe to the monster using some sort of mind control to lure you up onto the bridge where you leap off. David, after hearing this suggestion,
Which would be better, the axing or the jumping? Is there water? Can you land in the water? What? I don't want to deal with none of that shit, man. Back in the day, I used to want to go to some of these places and like just see what they was like. I don't want to go no damn where no more. It's like I'm just gonna stay in my pajamas and eat popcorn.
was again not really that keen to go do this really terrifying sounding thing, but seeing the excitement in his girlfriend's face, he agreed to go. And so the two left the restaurant, they climbed back in the car, and they drove.
Women have that way. Yeah, they're good at it. They give you this look and it's like, fudge. Yep, guess we're doing it.
For about 15 or 20 minutes to the Pope Lick Trestle Bridge. The bridge actually passed over a relatively main road, and so the couple parked just off the side of this main road, and then once they were outside, they began looking for a pathway up this hillside to get up to the bridge. And very quickly, they found a well-worn dirt path that snaked up the side of this wooded hillside that looked very much like it would bring them up to the bridge. So with Raquel in front and David behind her, they began walking up this dirt path. And as they're walking, they start to see signs that clearly say, no trespassing. But they ignore them because they're looking at this path thinking, okay, lots of people clearly come up here, so we've got to be okay. And so they keep on walking up this path and they're getting closer and closer to the top of this hill where they think it's going to connect with this bridge. And right as they're getting close, they see there's this huge chain link fence, this 8-foot tall chain link fence with barbed wire across the top.
Real photo of the chain link fence at Pope Lick Trestle. Good Lord, it's 8 foot tall. Sweet baby Jesus, they didn't want no one in that damn place. There's Bigfoots in there. It's not a goat man, it's a Bigfoot.
That extends in either direction out of view. And so the couple walks up to this fence, and there are more signs that say no trespassing, private property, and there are additional warning signs saying that what is on the other side of this fence is also just plain dangerous. So turn around and leave.
I would have turned around and freaking left. I'm not even gonna lie. I wouldn't even ask no questions. No, I'm an idiot. I'd been like, well, why is this so dangerous? What if my danger level's different than their danger level? What if their danger level's more? What if it's less? Yeah, I would have literally had a full-on conversation with myself, and then I probably would have talked myself into doing something really freaking stupid. That's how it works.
Every fall, when the leaves start to turn colors and the weather starts to get cool, people flock in droves to their nearest coffee shop to order a pumpkin spice latte. And every year when I see this phenomenon occur, I think to myself, how hasn't anyone started a seasonal eel teeth and milk sandwich restaurant? It's such an obvious compliment to the pumpkin spice latte. Well, this year I decided enough was enough. I was going to fill this massive hole in the marketplace and become the eel teeth and milk sandwich king. However, I pretty much immediately ran into a very big issue. The 5 mini poodles that I hired to help me grow and run this restaurant franchise instantly began to struggle with some basic tasks that I had outlined in the job description, like being able to hold things with your thumbs and speaking a human language. And so just a couple of days ago, as I'm sitting in my office trying for the 100th time to teach these mini poodles how to speak English and how to use their thumbs, my pet frog, Seagull Lung, came flying in and slapped me right in the coccyx and said, "Papa, tu avoir."
Papa, tu dois avoir ZipRecruiter.
Papa, tu devoir ZipRecruiter, which of course in French means, Dad, we need to use ZipRecruiter. And boy was old Lungy right. ZipRecruiter, which is the #1 rated hiring site according to G2.
I love the fact that he has a hard time getting through himself without cracking up. Makes me feel bad for him. My face hurts every time I watch his commercials. Oh God. Seagull lung is back, baby. Yeah. I'm starting to get attached to Seagull lung. I don't know about the rest of you, but yeah, I like all lungy.
Satisfaction ratings as of January 1st, 2022,
Oh,
uses its
fuck
powerful
me.
technology to find and match the right candidates with your job. And then you can easily go through all of these recommended candidates and invite only your top choices to apply for your job, meaning you won't have to hire as many unqualified mini poodles. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at my exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/MrBallen. Again, that's ziprecruiter.com/MrBallen, or you can click the link in the description below. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Fuck. Seagull lung. Why is it French though? I don't understand it. Like, I love it. Like, I don't care. It's amazing. But why is the frog French? Why?
As Raquel and David are staring at all these signs and this fence, they see, not far from the path, somebody had clearly bent two of the fence posts and created a narrow gap in the fence that you could slip through. And so from David and Raquel's perspective, that looked like the way other trespassers must have found their way up to the bridge, and so it must be safe. And so once again, the couple disregarded all the warnings. They made their way over to this gap in the fence, they both slipped through, and they kept on walking up the hill.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Sometimes warning signs and fences are actually there for a reason. I mean, sometimes it's just bullshit. People just don't want you in there. But there is, those few times where it might actually be bad. Few times. Few times. Just that few.
Just a couple of minutes later, they reached this clearing, which was at the top of this hill. And once they were in this clearing, they were able to turn and they could actually see the bridge. It was only a couple 100 feet away from them. And it was totally intimidating. By this point, it's totally dark out. And from their perspective, all they see is this very narrow bridge that they know is 100 feet off the ground at certain points. And they can see there's no guardrail.
Sorry, I made some homemade broccoli soup and a sourdough bread bowl. And it was amazing. But the broccoli's turning on me. I love broccoli. It is not my friend, though.
On either side of this bridge, it would have almost looked like a tightrope kind of extending off into the darkness. But even if the couple was really intimidated by the sight of this bridge and with all these warning signs before it, they were able to put their fear aside and just keep on going. And so with David now in the lead and Raquel behind him, they walked the couple of 100 feet over to the start of the
She want to do it now. This poor fool's getting pushed in to be first. She's like, honey, honey, honey. I know this was my idea, but you go first. Yeah, yeah. That's how it happened. Guarantee it. Yep. 100% guarantee it.
this narrow bridge, and when they got there, without actually stepping onto the bridge, David came to a stop, he turned around to face Raquel, and he gestured for her to come stand next to him so they could take a selfie with the bridge in the background. Because David, at this point, is thinking, we're not going to go on this bridge. We're just going to look at this bridge, take some pictures, and then we'll go. But Raquel, who he's looking at, gesturing to come stand with him, just walks right past him onto the bridge and takes several steps out onto this narrow, rickety old thing, and then she stops, turns around, and gestures for David to come with her and walk across the entire bridge. And David, again, is having his second thoughts, but he sees Raquel wants to...
Sometimes you just gotta put your foot down and get back. No fool. Look, you ain't getting my ass out on no rickety ass bridge. Like, I don't know if I'm going to fall and die. I don't know if you're going to fall and die. And I'll be damned if you're going to fall and die. And I'm going to reach for you because that's who I am. I'm going to be like, oh no, I will save you, and then you pull me down there with you. Like, no, it ain't fucking happening. Let's take our selfie. Let's say hello, goodbye, and let's go on about our day. No, no. But I will walk down, I'll walk over, I will walk back up, and I will meet you over there.
Do this, and so he agrees to go. After they had walked about 100,
Dummy.
maybe 200 feet across this bridge, the two of them just started laughing because it was totally exhilarating what they were doing. Not so much the quest for the Popelic monster, but rather the very real risk they were taking walking this tightrope bridge in the middle of the night. The couple would continue to very cautiously but quickly make their way across this bridge, and when they reached about the halfway point, when they were at the highest point from the ground, the bridge itself begins to shake. And then from behind them, they hear this loud grinding sound. And so the couple, they whip their heads around and they see there are these two bright glowing lights that are looking right at them all the way on the start of the bridge. And they realize it's a train. When Raquel and David walked up that dirt path and snuck through the fence and reached the top of the hill and could actually see the Popelic Trestle Bridge, they would have also seen the train tracks in the hillside that clearly extended onto the Popelic Trestle and went across the bridge. This was a train bridge. They would have seen that. But it's assumed that the couple, who didn't live in the area and so didn't know much about the Popelic Trestle, it's assumed they thought, well, this is a train bridge, but it's got to be abandoned. It certainly looks abandoned, and it does. It looks totally old. It does not look active, even though it is. Or the couple thought, well, this is just an old train bridge. It might be active, but surely no train is going to come through anytime soon. We can get across the bridge before a train arrives. But, of course, they were wrong. When the couple turned around and saw these two headlights bearing down on them, they quickly realized they would not be able to outrun this train. The train's clearly trying to stop. It has seen them. It's hitting its brakes. It's sounding its horn, but it's just clearly moving too quickly. So they cannot run to the other side to safety. And because this bridge was meant for a single train to pass through, there was no other track they could just jump onto to avoid being hit. And there were no walkways on either side of this railway. And so literally all they had was the track that this train was going to cross over, and they were on it.
Is there any way you can just hang off the side without like falling and dying to your death? Like, I mean, I've watched a lot of freaking action movies where you take off your belt, you put it around the tie, and you sit there and you're like, ah, 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 like that. I know, I know.
So with no other choices, David yells to Raquel that they have to climb down and hang off the side of this bridge. Now, there were these wooden slats that ran underneath the rails. They ran perpendicular to the rails, and these wooden slats kind of extended off the edge of the bridge on either side just a couple of inches. And so in theory, if you were holding onto the outside of one of these wooden slats and kind of dangling off the edge of the bridge, a train could cross those tracks and not run over your hands or fingers. You would just have to hold on that whole time as the train is rumbling through. And so David, he flops down onto his stomach and he's trying to lower himself as fast as he can as this train is getting closer and closer, and he's yelling for Raquel to do the same thing, but she's not really moving very quickly. And finally, David, he gets in position. He's hanging off the edge of this bridge on these wooden slats.
Yes! Action movies! Action movies save the mother freaking day, bro! Danny, he's watched the same movies I've watched.
And he sees Raquel, she's not quite there, and then the train comes flying through, it strikes Raquel and sends her flying off the bridge to the ground below. David would somehow manage to hold on the whole time as this train went past him, and then once the train had passed him, he pulled himself back up onto the tracks, he ran the rest of the way across the bridge, he went down that hillside, and when he found Raquel, it was immediately apparent that she was deceased. In the end, the railroad was not issued any citations or sued for negligence. It was
No, because they didn't do nothing wrong. Like, you said don't get on the It said, "Warning." I mean, they probably also could have put up saying, "Hey, this bridge is still in use, by the way. Don't just go out there thinking you can just stand there and take a freaking picnic or nothing." But you know, oh my God, like maybe it wasn't the goat man that was killing the people. Maybe it's just the random train that came down through there, and they just think these people are jumping because they see them flying through there. Fuck.
Was determined they did their due diligence by setting up that 8 foot tall barbed wire fence with all those signs telling people to stay back and warning
Yeah.
people about the hazards of going past this fence. And so it was actually David who got in trouble for this tragedy. He was cited and charged with a felony of unlawfully disrupting and or delaying a train, causing financial damages. He would plead to a lesser charge of trespassing and would be fined $2,300. Shockingly, this tragedy is just one of many that have occurred on the Popelik Trestle Bridge. Since the bridge's construction in the 1800s, there have been dozens of people who have died on this bridge. And several of these deaths, many of them fairly recent, the last 20 or so years, have occurred under the same conditions as Raquel's. People went looking for the Popelik monster and then were struck by a train. So that's going to do it. If you got something out of today's episode and you haven't done this already, please offer to do the
Damn. Curiosity killed the cat, people. I am freaking telling you. Damn. There never was a goat, man. It was just a train. I'm not trying to laugh because this poor lady is got hit by the train, went flying through the air, hit the ground, dead. That is not funny at all. Just the sheer fact that she drug him there. And he's got these reservations the whole time, like, no, bro, I don't want to do this. And she's like, no, no, come on, it'll be okay. And then it's like, oh, no, it's not okay. Like, there's your train. Evidently, they still use this place, you know. Yeah, maybe they should put a sign up, you know, bridge still in use. Beware, your ass will get ran over. And okay, did he try to sue the company? And the company's like, let's countersue this fool cause he done fucked up. Man, he just lost his old lady, and this poor girl lost her mom because all she wanted to do was find a half goat, half man person. And now you're going to give him some felony charges? I mean, don't get me wrong, I know you dropped it down to just trespassing and all that bullshit, but damn. He was just let it go, whoo! Oh, good golly, Miss Molly. All right. I'll... Stick with guided tours, people. If it says warning, get the hell out. Get the hell out. It says do not enter. Don't enter. There's an 8 foot barbed wire fence there. Remember, it is there for a reason. Don't do it. That's awful. She just wanted to see a ghost, and now she is one. Imagine all. Okay, yeah. Oh, what if like that's the goat man like luring people there, like getting them to people who are susceptible to it and luring them there so they can be hit by the train, and his hands are clean. He didn't do it. Wasn't me. It was a train. Now I got your soul. What if she's just haunting that bridge now? That's some crazy shit, though. You got me. That's some crazy shit. All right. If you don't enjoy today's story as much as I enjoyed today's story, please leave a thumbs up. You did. No, that was a great story. I like that. I did. That's a fucked up story, but I liked it. If you're a fan of the spooky, scary, strange, deranged things that just make you go, "What the hell?" Think about subscribing. Guarantee you'll be like, "What the hell?" At least 3 to 4 times a day. As always, be good to one another. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Damn. Yo, man ain't got nothing on that old north south. I mean, it could have been worse. They could have not seen him and tried to stop at all. And then it would just hit her really fast and she could have just like exploded. I mean, that would have been traumatizing.